Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Persona 3 FES for the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Network. This game was an updated version of the original Persona 3 and had new personas, character interactions, enemies and a whole lot more. The game was developed and published by Atlus and was released in 2008. So let's take a look at this game in more detail and see if in 2019 it's still worth playing, even if you have played the original Persona 3, or if you're just curious about jumping into the Persona franchise in general. The game story has you play the role of the main character as you travel to a new city while transferring from high school. Once you arrive at the city, you're greeted to coffins mysteriously all over the place, not a soul in sight, and this eerie feeling that you're constantly being watched. As the game story advances, you learn all about the Midnight Hour, Shadows, Persona users, and the Tartarus Tower. Story-wise, if you have ever played a Persona game before, then you will know what to expect. However, if you're a newcomer to the series and have just jumped straight into the franchise from this game, well, things might seem a little bizarre and will take a while to understand and get used to. Story-wise, I feel the game is okay, but honestly, I don't feel that this game's story is anywhere near the level of greatness that is Persona 4's. It's a good story, but truth be told, I feel like it lags in rather a lot of places, and only during the middle of the game or near the end, the answer story, do things really start going. The cast of characters for Persona 3 FES is a good cast. However, if I am being honest again, I really don't like them anywhere near as much as I do the Persona 4 cast. That in itself isn't to poo-poo the Persona 3 cast, it's just that sometimes I don't really feel that this group works together as a unit. To me, the cast feel a tad too realistic with some of their own views and selfishness, like how people can be in real life. Unlike the group in Persona 4, where you feel each character bonding together and becoming true friends who can face off any adversary that they come across, the Persona 3 cast feel like they are just a group of people who don't really like each other, but are forced to do a job together. It's like that feeling when you're friendly with someone at work, but that's it. You have nothing to do with them whatsoever outside of work. And that's how this cast feel. They don't feel close at all, and just like you could either take or leave them without really caring. It just feels like something is missing with this cast of characters. Even with Mitsurai being voiced by my favourite voice actress of all time, something just feels off about this group. All this could just be personal preference, however, as I have heard before that some people absolutely adore the Persona 3 cast and not 4's, and vice versa. So realistically, I think it's up to you, the individual, to make up your own mind. The game's combat system is turn-based and has you control 4 characters against the various shadow creatures. In combat, you have the standard options of attack, skills, items, abilities, and the rest of your usual choice which you would find in your traditional JRPG. There are some special options, such as team attacks, where the group work together for one powerful blow against the enemy. There's also a new merged persona system, where 2 personas can work together, granting the player new abilities which weren't available before. The FES edition also has a few more new features added to the gameplay, such as a few more new quests, a couple of brand new locations and interactions with characters, new events, and an extremely hard difficulty option for the experienced players. Truth be told, it's not that different from the original Persona 3. While FES does have a few new added features to the gameplay, mostly everything has stayed the same, with the new features being few and far between. It's not on the same level as Persona 4 Golden, aside from having the answer story, which, while not bad, I felt was even more grindy than the actual game's main story. Appearance-wise, everything kind of looks the same from Persona 3, with the graphics not having that much of an improvement. While not a huge change has been done graphics-wise, the game still has a mild upgrade with the characters and objects being slightly better detailed and textured than before, but essentially everything is still the same. Some new locations have been added, while previous ones have had a slight change and improvement done to them, but realistically, it's nothing too noticeable or dramatic. The graphics are okay, and the characters and the environments do come across well presented, but I just feel like the graphics are never really what they could be. They're not as good as what I feel that they could have been. When you play Persona 4, you really do see that a huge improvement was made to the graphics, more characters interacting in the backgrounds, better high-res textures. So if you've played 4 and then gone to 3, you'll notice that there is a huge downgrade. The world of Persona 3 FES has pretty much stayed the same as it did in Persona 3, with a few new locations added and previous locations getting a mild upgrade. Honestly, however, environment-wise, everything feels a tad limited. The locations that you do get to explore during the day seem rather empty and devoid of people, considering this is meant to be an extremely busy city. A prime example of this is the local nightclub, which only ever really seems to have 6 people in it at any time. Why does the station seem empty considering it's a busy city? Why does the local shrine hardly have anyone there? You just keep feeling this throughout the entire game. It's meant to be a busy and bustling city, yet hardly anyone seems to be around. You just wonder where on earth everyone is, seeing as how populated this area is meant to be. The other glaring issue with the environment is Tartaros. It's extremely samey, with each floor looking basically identical to the last. The higher up you go and adventure into the new blocks, it's not that impressive either. It just looks like new wallpaper was added, and that's sadly the same for the entire climb. It just seems to be like this throughout each block that you travel to. The most notable thing about Persona 3 FES and its environments is the brand new chapter known as The Answer. This adds a new part of the story to the end of the main game, where the group has you explore new locations, dungeons and situations after the events of Tartarus Tower. This new chapter adds around 30 to 40 hours of gameplay as you explore new locations and have to face off against new powerful monsters and enemies lurking within. However, sadly the reason it is 30 to 40 hours is because the answer is extremely grindy. I thought the main game was grindy, but this is even grindier. The new environments are nice in the answer, but eventually I just get a bit sick of them as well, because much like Tartaros, they just come across as very samey. If you are curious about getting into the Persona universe and are thinking about skipping 1 and 2 and plan just to jump into 3 FES, then you can do, as it's fairly opening and accepting to newcomers into the franchise. If you're a console owner, then this is available for the PlayStation 2 console, however price wise it does seem to fluctuate from one month to the next. So if you want the original on disc, then it might require a bit of hunting. If you are okay with digital, then the game is also available on the PlayStation Network for you to enjoy as well. So if you are okay with digital downloads, then you can download this game at a fantastic price, and it's even better if it's on sale. Persona 3 FES is an okay addition to the series, but truth be told, I don't really like this game. I originally played this when it came out for the PlayStation 2, and I got to the part where you had to fight the tank boss, and I gave up because I just kept constantly dying. I think I went on to play Metal Gear Solid 3 or something. I forget. The point is that the game's got a lot of flaws, and those flaws ruin the experience of this game. I played Persona 4 around a year and a half ago, and I instantly fell in love. Persona 4 is one of my favourite games of all time, so because of that I went back to play Persona 3 FES this year, and I just felt nothing but disappointment. The characters don't feel like they connect with each other at all, the environments feel extremely limited, and the gameplay is exceptionally grindy, and perhaps the worst part is the constant routine, which makes me hate this game. After playing this game, I can honestly understand why Japan has such a high suicide rate. It's the same method constantly. Go to school, do social links, do events afterwards, go back to the dorm, have conversations which lead nowhere, go to Tartarus, fight shadows, climb higher in the tower, which just looks the same on each and every floor, And while this may not sound that bad, you do this practically every day, and it's rather tedious, especially with the game's extremely limited music as well. It's almost like the game has 5 songs for the background music, and that's it, and it just constantly plays them all the time, and you get a bit sick of them. I want to make this fairly clear. I'm not saying that Persona 3 FES is a bad game. I'm simply stating that if you come from 4 to 3, then you're going to be disappointed. So if you are a newcomer to the series, then it might be best that you start off with 3, see how you feel, and then if you don't like that, you can always skip to 4. It's a good game, but I feel like it has a lot of flaws, which really bring the game down. It could have been so much more better if more time and effort had been put into it. It's a good game, but I honestly don't feel it's one of the best. Well, that's it for this review guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.